Hey. Welcome, everybody. Day number 82. I want to thank you for being here. Tonight is going to be absolutely fantastic. Not fantastic in the war, but fantastic in the information. And so many things are happening within the last 30 minutes. I'm going to give you the update tonight on everything. You're going to know 100% accurate what is going on with the Azovstal. Yes, we do have some extractions. No, not all, but we have, I think the number is 53 of the most seriously wounded to one location, 211 to another. I'm going to give you all the details, all the video, and I'm going to share with you how this unfolded because actually, Zhenya and I were watching this unfold last night, and it started probably about 22 hours ago when a soldier from under the Azovstal put out a very cryptic message. That's where it started. I do not want to give it away, but we will get to that in just a moment. Now, Zhenya is over in the east. I got video from him. Going to be very, very interesting, but unfortunately, he's not able to join us tonight because what happens when you're traveling in a war zone? He has no power. So I don't know if he's going to hook a bicycle up to a wire and try to recharge stuff. But I hope he's enjoying the powerless Kharkiv, Dnipro, and other regions. Now, with all jokes aside, he is doing well. Incredible video we're going to show you tonight firsthand. But the honest truth is he has no power where he's at. So I see all of you jumping in here tonight. Honestly, I can't keep up with you now, but thank you everybody jumping from all over the place. Don Gentilini, as always, I appreciate your very, very kind comments. Yes, I worked hard at learning the language and it's paying off now, isn't it? So thank you for that. And no, tonight we are not going to get disconnected. Maybe many of you guys are wondering why that happened. I do have the answer. The answer is confirmed. 100%. The continual use of those words took me down twice. No question. All questions removed. So there you have it. We will not go down tonight. I'm telling you, I bet you $100. And when we all win the bet, you can just send the bet in because I'm not going down tonight. We know what happened. And you can donate that to the Ukraine Relief Fund. We're going to need it because we need to send Zhenya needs some battery chargers. He has no power. I don't, I can remember the first trip I ever took to Ukraine. I remember it like yesterday. I landed in Kyiv. I was with Larry and Deborah. And from Kyiv, we went to a town called Slavuta. And Slavuta was honestly in horrible condition so many years ago. Our statements at that time would have been, man, this looks like a war zone. It really did. Dilapidation, destroyed roads, destroyed infrastructure. But we were there. That's the town we were in. And we had this nice dinner, at a person's home. And being the young fella, I got the short straw. Next thing I do not know the language, do not know the culture. I do not know anything. I'm green. They said, Greg, you're going to go stay with these two guys. Can someone text? Yeah, they'll take care of you, JDO. You can type it all day long. Or I can message you later. Yeah, I was taken down 2 nights in a row because of a certain word. And we confirmed it today. But they're in that town talking about infrastructure. They said, Greg, you're going to go stay with these two guys. Folks, this is no joke. It took me to this building. It was a 9-story tall building like you've seen destroyed on video. We go into the building, no power, no lights, nothing. And they go, we're staying on the 9th floor. Where's the elevator? No elevator, no power. We walk up 9 flights. They carry my suitcases up. We go into this apartment. There's no furniture. There's nothing. Concrete walls. I look at this big room and they got this big mat laid on the floor. And I'm looking around. No light. Nothing. Go over to the bathroom. No toilet. No water. And I'm looking around. I said, what is going on here? And then, you've got to go to the restroom before you go to sleep. I don't know what to do. I do not know these guys. So I just turn into myself. I walk over to the balcony, open the door, step out, climb up, 9 floors up, let it fly. That was a wonderful experience. Now, I come back in the room, and the 2 guys are there. They go, Greg, sleep, sleep. Sleep. No, I was not in Turkey. Sleep. I said, okay. And they show me this mat. And I go over and I lay on this mat. I lay down. I'm laying there. My first time ever in Ukraine, in Slavuta. Looking around. They lay on either side of me. I go, what is going on? They were there to make sure I was okay. They did a great job. They're my dear friends to this day. But I decided that day, I'm learning the language. Поэтому, если нам нужен, конечно, мы поговорим на русском, украинском. Неважно, но мы будем. Never again would that happen. All right, folks, so there you have it. A little bit of fun, and away we go. So, right before we went online, I did not even have time to get this built into the script or anything, but here we have it. This is right now. Right now. Every dark red you see, basically the entire nation of Ukraine is under air raid sirens, and the missiles are flying right now. I do not know why it increased so much. But it has. In fact, I've got the list of hits. I didn't even have time to make it. I just scribbled it down real quick. I've got the list of hits, and I've got the list of suspected hits. And folks, it is unbelievable what has happened within the last hour. A lot of the communication channels I use, it was instantly like I jumped in the shower to get ready for the program. I come back out and all of my communication systems were like blinking bright red. And it was like, what is going on? And then boom, they are flying right now. So we will get to that in a moment. So let's start with the big news of the day. And I know everybody wants to know the details. So the Ministry of Defense, Russian Federation, this slide is what I made earlier in the day. And I said, okay, maybe this is happening. Maybe this is not happening. I'm going to update everyone. And then the events of the day unfolded. The Ministry of Defense Russian Federation stated that an agreement was allegedly reached with representatives of the Ukraine military blocked at Azovstal to evacuate the wounded. Now, what started this was about 22 hours ago. And I'm going to play you this video. 22 hours ago, this is what we were watching, and Jenny and I were talking, and I was going, dude, what is he talking about? Here we go. It's a little enigmatic.
Кожне прийняте рішення, кожен план, кожна операція. Критичне мислення завжди породжувало сумніви в моїй голові, сумніви правильності прийнятого рішення. Це ніколи не виходило за межі розумного і не заважало завжди наполягати на своїй точці зору. В управлінні підрозділами завжди є ризик. На війні немає повністю безпечних планів та операцій. Ти завжди ризикуєш. Головне усвідомити, чи прораховані всі ризики, чи пропрацьований план Б, Чи віддався ти повністю цьому плану, який повинен поєднувати в собі виконання поставленої задачі та максимальне збереження життя та здоров'я особового складу? Можливо, саме тому війна – це мистецтво, а не наука. Коли ти виконав поставлену задачу та зберіг максимальну кількість особового складу. Це і є вища планка управління військами. Тим більше, коли твоє рішення затверджено вищим військовим керівництвом. Слава Україні!
Now, folks, that came out about 22 hours ago. And Genia and I were talking, and all of the channels started lighting up, going, something is happening, because it was a completely different message. Like, okay, the decisions have been questioned, but we stand behind our country. We're making the right decisions. War is an art. War is not a science. We need to make sure we're taking care of our people, of course, which we agree with all. And then glory to Ukraine. And we're talking back and forth, and all the channels that we're on is talking back and forth. Are our guys getting out? Now, Russia came out just a couple of hours later and says, we've made an agreement, and we're going to get the most severely wounded and the second level of wounded out. We're extending good relations, and we're going to take them away. Now, the map you see here, when it first came out, if you look, the red line is the border of Russia and Ukraine. Of course, Donetsk is up there in the pink. Go straight down to the blue circle, and you have Mariupol. When it first came out, hours and hours ago, even when Ukraine did not come out and officially say they were doing this, Russia was saying, we're taking all of these wounded to the town on the Russian border, Novosibirsk. And you may say, okay, isn't that under Russian control? Absolutely. 100% under Russian control. Then the details started to come out a little bit more. The news started to leak out. And then the true story came out. So now I'm going to give you the true story. This is from the Deputy Defense Secretary of Ukraine, translated in English. She's going to tell you exactly what happened.
Збройні сили України, Національна гвардія, прикордонна служба розпочали операцію з порятунку заблокованих на території комбінату «Азовсталь» оборонців Маріуполя. 16 травня з Азовсталі до медичного закладу в Новоазовську евакуйовано 53 важкопоранених для надання медичної допомоги. Ще 211 осіб через гуманітарний коридор були доставлені в Оленівку. Для подальшого повернення їх додому буде здійснено процедуру обміну. Щодо оборонців, які все ще залишаються на території Азовсталі, спільними зусиллями вищеназваних відомств проводяться заходи з порятунку. Завдяки оборонцям Маріуполя ми отримали критично важливий час для формування резервів, перегрупування сил та отримання допомоги від партнерів. Всі поставлені командуванням завдання оборонці Маріуполя виконали у повному обсязі. На жаль, ми не маємо можливості деблокувати Азовсталь військовим шляхом. Найважливіше спільне завдання всієї України та всього світу – зберегти життя оборонців Маріуполя.
So that was then the official statement that came out. So now I'm going to show you on the map, and JDO is spot on. There is a plan in place here, and we will see how it unfolds. But let me go here. So Mariupol is here, and I'll give you the, let's go to just a blue dot so you can see it. They put right there, 211, I think it was, there at Novosibirsk. And then the others. Now, where did they go? Very interesting. They're right here. I know we were looking like over here somewhere up here. No. They're right here. They're in Crimea. They're right north of Sevastopol. And what we have is supposedly coming up a prisoner of war exchange. So 264 have been extracted. The Ukrainians are not with them. 0. They are completely prisoners of war, but they are supposed to be receiving treatment. in the two locations, completely under Russian control. And the goal is a prisoner of war exchange. I imagine when the details come out on this, we're going to have a massive prisoner of war exchange. Here's the deal. They could not get them out. Last night, before we got cut off, we were looking at some of the phosphorus munitions that were being dropped on Azovstal. Some of our members in here that are in here each night, they're military veterans. They know the score. Basically, not only is that melting the top, but the gases get down into in beneath and settle down into the catacombs below the steel plant. You're basically going to suffocate these guys and kill them. So I think Ukraine did right. They did what they needed to do. Now, is that everybody? No, there are still at least 300 to 500 more soldiers trapped under the Azovstal. So I'm sure there are other types of plans or exchanges or something, but this has really moved to a new level tonight with Azovstal. And then, kind of interesting, all of a sudden, the skies light up over Ukraine. So that's the deal. That's the update. That is the true story of what has unfolded in the last 24 hours with the deal in Azovstal. So we're thankful. We're thankful some of those guys are getting out. So there they are, confirmed, 264 rescued from the Azovstal. Now, I want to share with you guys, but before we get into this, actually, let me give you this now. CSTO meeting in Moscow, very important. This is the Collective Security Treaty Organization. Maybe you do not know about this organization, but you can see Vladimir Putin in the middle, and there are 6 nations in this organization. You have Russia, Belarus, Kyrgyzstan, Armenia, Kazakhstan, and Tajikistan. All the stands, they have this organization called the Collective Security Treaty Organization. And I know you're sitting there going, okay, I see 6 nations, PG, but I see 7 flags and 7 people. What's the other nation? It's not another nation. It is the flag of the organization with the Secretary General that they elect for the organization. So 6 nations plus the flag of the organization. They met today. I have a little bit from that. Actually, Grandpa, they all made their little speeches, and we could have spent the whole night sharing those, but I didn't even translate any of that. I'm going to translate this for you as he says it. It's only a 20-second clip. But they went around the table talking about the security, talking about what they're going to do for each other. A major topic of the day was Nazism, and Vladimir Putin and Lukashenko trying to press the story that is being unfolded in Ukraine. So here is a little bit of Lukashenko, and you know, this is the president of Belarus.
НАТО агрессивно наращивает мускулы, затягивая к себе в сети уже нейтральных вчерашних Финляндию и Швецию.
We need to understand that what is happening with Finland and Sweden is a disaster.
Лицемерно продолжает декларировать свою оборонительную направленность.
And it is not right that they are coming into NATO the way they are with, you know, a problem against us. So that was a little bit there. And this is what they were talking about. NATO, talking about their own nations. And of course, number one topic was the war in Ukraine. Now, this is what President Putin said after the meeting. They all made their statements, but we need to focus here what Vladimir Putin said. He said a series of joint military exercises, pay attention, of the CSTO is planned for the fall, and their number of more exercises working together will expand. He then said the purpose of the U.S. word that I can't say because I'll get taken off the air in the post-Soviet space is to collect biological materials and study the specifics of how to spread the viruses. That's what they talked about. Yeah. Third, we will sign a joint statement on the determination of our states to cooperate in the field of defense. Fourth, we need to protect the memory of the great victory. This is important when monuments are being demolished in other countries. Latvia, I've shown you that video. Ukraine. and other nations that were former Soviet members. Laying flowers is forbidden and heroic deeds are being crossed out. Fifth, Ukraine has long closed its eyes to rampant Nazism. In the West, there is a surge of frenzied Russophobia. We talked about that last night. And then finally, Russia has no problems with Sweden and Finland. But any expansion of NATO military structure on their territory will provoke a reaction. Well, better get ready because they're coming. Folks, I want to give you an update now before Zhenya lost power. This is really, really good. You're going to enjoy it. Also, just hang on. The next 34 minutes are going to be fantastic.
We arrived in time, but it was quite late, let's say. But our guys is following us. They are following us. They're not arrived yet. Right now they're in the area of Kiev, I believe, just in the middle.
They're only in Kiev?
Yes, yes.
It's a long ways from Kiev to Kharkiv.
Yeah, it's 500 kilometers.
Are they driving tonight?
I'd say. Yes, right now.
And what's the plan?
They drive.
Yeah, I know, but then they're going to arrive, and then are y'all delivering things there?
As they arrive, we will confirm, and then we will go there and upload all of we brought.
Okay, in Kharkiv.
From Khmelnytsky, in Kharkiv. No, most part, let's say, and then we move. I think we go to Dnipro. This is the plan. Tomorrow.
Right. Go to Dnipro tomorrow, and then there may be another excursion, but we do not want to give that location.
It's like that.
Посмотрим.
Посмотрим.
We will see. All right, so question for you. How was the trip to Kharkiv? You know, you sent me some video, you sent me pictures. What have you learned going into this is video of him walking around yourself?
You know, it's the big difference when you watch something, you watch destroyed, and the picture of destroyed houses and ruined lives, destroyed plans and families. And there is a huge difference when you see it, and you being there, then you start to feel it. And it's a huge difference. That's.
I remember in 2014 when the war started. Remember, this is part 2. And the Kyiv airport closed, and you guys had to get me out of Ukraine because they told all the Americans to get home, and we couldn't protect you if the war went worse, and da-da-da-da. So we were working on it, and you guys, it was Zolik, actually, and some others, drove me to Warsaw, to Warszawa. And in 2014, I can remember everywhere in Ukraine at that time, and I have video of it, there were block posts, there were tanks, there were flags, there were soldiers. You had to go through the block post. You had to show your documents. They were looking for, traitors. They were looking for anybody that shouldn't be there. And it was quite the journey. And I can remember myself driving past the place where they would have the bunkers and the flags and the soldiers and their equipment, and they were at every major block post. That's 2014, 8 years ago. I had a nervous feeling, but we were doing fine, and we made it out. Everything was good. But I can only imagine the difference when you move to seeing something like a destroyed home and then all of a sudden it's not a video anymore, it's not a picture anymore, but you're actually seeing the shelled places, or you're seeing the blown up tanks. You move now from a head feeling to like a heart feeling. The atmosphere changes. And I imagine if you continue on, which we know you've already said, do the deal there in Kharkiv tomorrow, and then you're looking toward Dnipro, and I'll show this on the map for people. But after that, we're looking at a potential third location that would probably be even worse.
Okay. Вчера? Нет.
Позавчера.
2 days ago it happened.
No.
Seems to me.
No, 2 days ago.
Everything's still there.
Two days ago, they tried to hit the cinema.
Кухню покажи, что кухня мне нравится. И вообще кухня такие нормальные. Видишь, магнитики на этот, на холодильник.
Бахмут. So this center was demolished just 2 days ago with the 2 missiles. And this is the area, this areas we bringing the staff and the food. Hello from Kharkiv, and guys, I wanted to thank you for support our country and our soldiers, and it is important for they could get help, for they could get it in time, and they could get the food right now. We are unloading the stuff we brought, and we gave some tourniquets, and so thank you to everyone who support our country in this time of life for our country. Thank you. Okay, and God bless you richly.
What does it make you feel? Does it re-energize you to continue to do everything we're doing? Does it show you that everything we're doing is worth it, to raise funds, to deliver humanitarian aid, to help the military in ways? Once you're there in the middle of it, does it change you a little bit?
I mean, it's from one side, it's encouraging. Why? Because you see and you can feel something, and from this moment, it films me that the programs you do and the things like we share with other people outside of Ukraine, it's more important than I was thinking before. Even more important for people. I would like for people would feel it.
Yes.
Would realize the ugliness, or I mean how terrible the war is, and how terrible the war we are. I mean, Ukraine now
is in
being surrounded by forces of few countries, and after all of promises to not to touch, all the guarantees of the list and agreements and declarations and all of that, and with all of that, I'm coming, and this is what I want for one day. I mean, I really want to have it as soon as possible when our guys will say, hey, we don't need tourniquets, bandages. We don't need that kind of food or that kind of food.
Mm-hmm.
We are okay. We have, we well supplied. We're ready, and I will be looking at the other areas I can help my country, my people, the other families, to be a part of that defendance, like I mean, resistance
Yes.
of aggression.
When I think one thing that would be fair to share tonight is, and I know we've made good pushbacks, and and we're happy for some of those victories and some of the ways that we're having successes. And now that some weapons are getting there from the West, it is helping. And I know just a little while ago they unleashed some fresh attacks even in the Donetsk area. It's almost as if all we want to do is destroy your country. And I know that's the truth, and you know that's the truth. But okay, so we come into Chernobyl and we destroy all of that. We come down to Kyiv, all of those, we destroy all of that. We go over to Chernihiv and we destroy all of that. We go over to Sumy, we destroy all of that. Then we just leave. Now we come into Western Kharkiv and we just destroy everything we can destroy. And now we're going to rotate down and help our other guys continue to destroy all of Eastern Ukraine. And now, this evening, they just started unleashing on Donetsk. And Kherson, we're just going to destroy it. And I think that's the thing that we're trying to communicate to people. And now, you being there, you have another viewpoint and feel of it that you can accurately communicate to people. The other thing is, I think we should say, is over these 81 days, so many times we have talked about how small Ukraine is in general. But I think maybe we do a disservice sometimes when we say it that way, because in comparison to other nations, Ukraine is not small. Now, in comparison to Russia, in comparison to the United States, in comparison to Canada, it's small. But in Europe, it's large. And when we start to discuss just the amount of land in Kharkiv, Lugansk, Donetsk, Kherson, all of these regions, it's why even President Zelensky said over 2,000 of our towns and cities, 2,000 have been either damaged or destroyed. I think sometimes we look at just that eastern and southern part. We even forget that just 45 days ago, they were destroying Kyiv, Chernihiv, Sumy. And maybe we think, well, it's such a small area. And it really isn't. It's a pretty good chunk of land over there that's being destroyed. I mean, think about it this way. 24 hours ago, you were in Khmelnytsky talking with me, and now you're in Kharkiv talking with me. So, hello. It's not that, and you did not take an airplane. You drove. You know, I'm glad you're there in Kharkiv. I'm glad you're experiencing that. You said earlier it re-energizes you to let you know that what you're doing, that what we're doing is more important than you thought. And I'm glad you can share that with us. Any other things you learned, discovered, want to share?
I want to thank special thanks for people who share the truth about what is going on. When you share the truth with someone, when you share the reality, you share the facts. It's so important. This is why it's so important. I would like to have people from everywhere with me. it's like, I'm happy to be here. That's it for now.
So here's what we do.
It's not about price, it's our reserve. When the war started, we tried to do reserve.
Жека, скажи щось.
Our reserve, because
Англійською
now
скажи.
we cannot found
Про Лондон щось.
but it's
Do you know the price for fuel we were buying? Like, and it was like available for today morning.
It was supposed to be like 36.
8.2 US dollars per gallon.
Huh? $8 a gallon
8.2.
per gallon.
Yeah. Calculated 65 hryvnia per liter.
You got a big team behind you here helping, but how,
Yes.
it's expensive, but we do what we have to do. We've got to have fuel. So
Yes.
how are other people making it? I mean, seriously,
Some
the
people,
ones that have not left the country, the ones that are trying to hold on to any kind of business they have and taking the chances and risk to stay.
okay,
How are they even making
one
it?
of the volunteers who has a car, he was using public transportation. This is like that. The other people are staying in the lines to buy it for 46 liters hryvnia per liter, with a limit of 5 or 10 liters per person per car.
Listen, by the time they stand in that line that's a mile long and then put the 5 liters in, they only get to the corner and they need more gas.
Yes.
That's only like a gallon and a half. 5 liters.
So
It's nothing.
yes.
People's lawnmowers have more gas than that.
You, man. Okay, it's a long story, but sometimes the small gas stations, I mean the small brands, they don't have anything. The big gas stations like Vog,
Yeah.
Oko, Sakar, like Oko were giving just 5 liters, for example, and for per one their net client card, so by application.
Right.
So I had to register Ina's father, Ina's mother, my friends, Ina, to different cards to buy like 25 liters, and I was paying for 5, going back, then putting back, paying for 5, yes, getting back, paying for 5, getting back. Man, this is how we were filling our tank last time before leaving to Poland.
There you have it, everybody. The update from tonight. Zhenya's there now, no power, and so we can't catch up with him live, but let me share something with you. Every video that we have clipped in there, that is not from a news source. That is not... I'll check that in a second, Rusty. That is not from some YouTube video. Every video you saw tonight, Zhenya filmed them personally, walking through the blown up hospital in the zones. And if you listen very closely when he was in Kharkiv and he was saying hello from Kharkiv, that was air raid sirens going on in the background behind him during the first part of that video. Now, folks, I do have to tell you this. Let's see. Greg, this is from the CIA. On 24th February 2022, Russia escalated its conflict with Ukraine by invading the country on several fronts when it's become the largest conventional military attack on a sovereign state in Europe since World War II. Absolutely spot on. Now, folks, during that clip, and that clip was about 13 minutes long, I've got some... I told you earlier that air raids were going off all over the country right now. You know, early in the morning there, it's what, 4:44 a.m. And unfortunately, I've got some bad news to give you live. I do not know any details, but I can tell you this for a fact. Let me flip over to here. You guys know that this is our base of operations right here, Khmelnytsky, and Khmelnytsky was just hit. Like, now. It just blew up over here on all my messages. No details, but I can tell you it happened. Lvov, been hit. I'm just going down my list. Of course, Kherson, Zhytomyr, Vinnytsia, Kryvyi Rog. Sorry, Lena, Poltava, Donetsk, Severodonetsk is in that circle. Lysychansk, Kharkiv, Odessa, Dnipro. But I can tell you right now that Khmelnytsky was just hit. And it's a big city. We don't know anything. And I mean, like, literally during that. Now, the other thing that I need to share with you, since we're looking at the map, I was going to show you the map later, but then I got that Khmelnytsky info during the clip with Zhenya. Belarus came out today, and I've already shared with you guys that Belarus is loaded with troops there in the corner, and that they've loaded Pinsk. This has been over the last 4 or 5 days. But now, folks, Belarus has loaded this area. And let me change the color so we can identify. Russia has loaded here, and Russia has loaded here. And, sorry to say, I don't understand their strategy. I'm not a military strategist. So, yeah, Ricochet, you're right. This was a military training facility and munitions area hit in Lviv. That's a fact. But back up here to Belarus, right here, and Russia. I'm not a military strategist. I can just tell you what I'm reading, and like, it's blowing up right now with all the missiles that are flying. It's got to be connected to Azovstal or the CTSO meeting or the CSTO meeting. I don't know, but it's rolling. But for some reason, and you guys that are smarter than me as veterans, they've started shelling Chernihiv and Sumy again. Not missiles, not cruise missiles, not long range, but they're shelling right across the borders. And I don't know why. I'm just telling you, this is what's happening. So right now, that's what the map looks like, and that's live up to date, but really concerned about this one right here. Of course, that's our home city there in Khmelnytsky. And I mean, it's so fresh, it's written in pen. Now, there is something very cool that happened today. Very, very cool. I'm not sure you're going to see this anywhere else. Maybe. But I doubt it. Ricochet, I think you're right. They're getting ready to move more troops forward. That's what I think as well, but I don't know. I'm going to show you guys now the coolest thing ever. In fact, let me go back to the map, and I'm going to prepare you for it. Let me get my little thing here, and I'm going to clear the map now. Everybody's seen that. Let's clear it. Now, here's Kharkiv. Okay. And this is really good. Um, oh, oh, clear. Come back. Thank you. Clear. Okay. It's live, folks. Kharkiv, right there. Now, here's Belgorod, which is Russia, which is really being struck a lot. And it's part of the counter, or Russia is also doing it to themselves to stir up people. Pretty good sized town and a major supply line. But today, right there, some Ukrainian soldiers I think it's the 227th. Well, you'll see it in just a second. In the 227th, went across the border into Russia and planted a Ukrainian marker. And then they sent a video clip to the president of Ukraine. And they said, President Zelensky, I did not translate this. You just need to watch this. It's awesome. And then they sent a message to President Zelensky and says, we're fighting for our country. We're going to defend it. And we're going to not stop until we have all of our grounds back. Now, here's where it gets really cool. President Zelensky sent them a video back. He's standing behind his chair and he's happy. Look at the smile. These guys went into Russian territory and planted the Ukrainian marker. It's awesome. We're all ready. Let's go. I'll translate a little bit for you. They are in Russian territory. You're going to see a blue sign to the left in a second. There it is. You said, well, isn't there a border there? Not on a lot of these rural roads.
Пане президенте, Верховний Головнокомандувач Збройними силами України, доповідаю. Сьогодні, 15 квітня, 227-й батальйон, 127-ї бригади.
They're telling which battalion they're on. The message to the president. We're defending our land. This is Ukrainian territory. They're in Russian territory. This little sign was the border. Little border sign. It's the little rule area. There's the border. We're in Russia.
Ми на кордоні.
Хлопці, Харків, 227 батальйон, 127 бригада територіальної оборони України. Дуже вам вдячний від всіх українців, від кожного, від себе, від моєї сім'ї. Вдячність моя без кордонів. І бажаю вам всім здоров'я, бережіть себе. Дякую вам, вашим батькам, ви молодці. І всім таким, як ви, воїнам, дуже дякую. Все буде Україна. Слава Україні!
A nice little personal response to a little action going on. As many of our veterans in here have told us many times, when you're in war, you have to do things to relieve the stress and the pressure. Of course, that was dangerous what they were doing there, but they made a statement. Last few things I'm going to give you for tonight. You think about, the effects on the economy in Ukraine. Their finance minister, his name is Sergei Marchenko. He came out and he said today that this situation is very difficult for the Ukraine's economy to sustain a long war, but we will manage it. It's tough. Now, here's the other thing. You start to think about this. I haven't shared this because there's just no time, but India right now is supposed to be kicking in a major supply of wheat to the world. And a few days ago, they declared that they would not be able to do that. They were going to hold the wheat for themselves. And over the last week, and you can look this up, you know, in your Weather Channel or whatever, an incredible heat wave has struck India. And it's to the level where they're losing their crops. It's a serious situation. Of course, Ukraine, as a major exporter, everything's blocked. Yes, they're looking at the possibility of getting some stuff out through Poland, but nothing has been achieved in that yet. And then, of course, the harvest for this year destroyed or stolen by Russia. So it creates an environment of destabilization economically in the world when it comes to food. And it's only going to grow more the more this war goes on. Now, Iran today experiencing major protest in food. Looting is out of control. High food prices created a situation of famine. Now listen, a famine with an abundance of food. Isn't that interesting? This week, Iran announced that the cost of vegetable oil, chicken, eggs, and milk will increase by 300%. That is not a typo. It's not 3, it's not 30, but 300%. All at once. The rise in prices was explained by global supply chains due to hostilities in Ukraine, a major food exporter. So what's happening in Ukraine? They have lost some control in Tehran, and looting is happening like crazy. Yes, looting. People are going in and taking what they want. And folks, it's happening all throughout Iran. And you say, well, okay, well, this is about Ukraine and Russia. It's all connected. This is all connected. And I'm not saying Russia and Ukraine, the war is doing it to Iran on purpose, but we're going to see the repercussions of this globally. And each day this war extends, it's going to get worse. There's no way it gets better. Sweden officially states their desire to join NATO. That came out today. We've been talking about it. Now they've joined Finland and say, we're coming. And what's really interesting is the little nation of Iceland. Maybe you did not know this, but I've been to Iceland. My wife and I went there on our 25th wedding anniversary. Beautiful, beautiful, little teeny tiny nation, Iceland. Today they came out, their military's nothing, tiny. But they said, Sweden, don't you worry. We will guarantee your security if you join NATO. It was just a nice gesture, but it was nice for Sweden to hear. Finnish general came out. You guys are going to like this one. Actually, Admiral James Stavridis. He's actually an American. He shared this. And it was a Finnish general reacting to Putin's threats if Finland joins NATO. And this was his quote, the Finnish general. You are most welcome here to join the 200,000 Russians that are already in Finland, buried a few meters in the ground after your last attempt to take Finland in 1939. You know, folks, people are standing up. Turkey, Erdogan came out and made it official today that Turkey will not vote yes for Finland and Sweden to join NATO. They're going to vote no. And he gives all these other reasons, but his main reason was because Finland and Sweden have existing sanctions on Turkey. Yes, the delegations from Finland and Sweden went to meet him today. It did not change anything. And then his final statement was Sweden is a breeding ground for terrorists. Sweden and Finland do not have a clear position against terrorism. Let me say this about Turkey tonight. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall, and Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. And all the king's horses and all the king's men could not put Humpty Dumpty back together again. President Erdogan in Turkey. Humpty Dumpty position, not good for you. sitting on the wall between Russia and the West. What happens? You fall off the wall. And I guarantee you, when you fall off the wall, Russia will not come to your aid, my friend. You better choose wisely, because what you're doing right now, not smart. Location of resettlement camps. This came out today. And last couple of things I want to give you. This is sourced from actual Russian reports in Russian media. Location of resettlement camps throughout Russia. Now look on the map there. You see Ukraine. I'll make it big for you. In the little brown highlight. Look how tiny it is compared to Russia. Maybe compared to China. Look at Turkey. It's the same size as Turkey. Good map for looking at that, but not the purpose. This is how many camps are located throughout resettlement camps located throughout Russia. And the number given on Russian media, and I know you say, well, listen, we don't like Russian media, but this was analyzed, not like the crazy nut jobs. This was analysis of their reporting, their local reports, showing the videos, showing the documents, showing the Ukrainians. In one of the camp regions, 95,000 residents from Mariupol have been relocated in one central area with multiple camps. Hello, World War II. Welcome back. Finally, I like this lady. Estonia's prime minister. This is probably the best statement that anyone has made since this war started. And I know Zelensky has had some great speeches. Amazing. Boris Johnson has blown the doors off of the world with some of his statements. But this lady right here, Kaja Kallas, from the little nation of Estonia, the prime minister, she urges the Western leaders, hello, Macron, Schultz, stop calling Putin. This is her quote. If everyone continues to call him, he will not realize that he is isolated. He feels like he's the center of attention because everyone wants to talk to him. But what's the bottom line? I don't see any results because after all of these conversations, there is no sign of de-escalation. Probably one of the wisest statements that we've heard from any world leader since this war began 82 days ago. God bless that lady. That was smart. All right, folks, that's the update. As always, thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for continuing to pray for Ukraine and continuing to give that one meal a week. Your Applebee's dinner. People have asked me, how much does an Applebee's dinner cost? Depends on how big your family is. I hope you have 20 in your family. The bigger your family, the bigger donation you'll make. And it's all going there. We've got to take care of our work there. And it's working out great. God bless you. God bless Ukraine. And we'll see you in 23 hours with the next wave of updates. Good night.